Right, welcome back. All right, I hope that you have enjoyed the previous session with Dr. Siti Mariam about her experiences, journey, the initial journey from a bachelor's to a master's, then to PhD. And she did a PhD in Sweden, all right? And actually, what you do in Sweden? What PhD is that?
The specialty is called Tumor Biology.
Tumor Biology. Tumorology.
Just separate
tumor. Yes, I know it's
biology.
a growth. Right. So, give us a little bit more.
So it's the biology of tumor.
Alright.
Okay.
Okay. So, what was your paper? What was your research? What's the findings in your research?
Right. So we were doing really basic research.
Okay.
Basic meaning we were studying on the mechanisms that lead to cancer.
Oh, okay.
And many roads lead to Rome. Same way, many roads lead to cancer.
Okay.
So I only specialize on one oncogene.
Sorry, is it?
One gene that plays a role in cancer.
Oh, alright. Sorry. I mean, there's only one gene.
No.
There are many different
There are
genes.
many different genes in the body, and then there are many different genes that can, lead to cancer formation because of mutations and stuff.
Right.
The gene that I studied, that I focus on, is only one, or actually two genes. So actually for PhD, we go really, really detailed, really, really specific into one, and we study everything about this one.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
For layman, if you're as a layman, right? Actually, what are the main causes for cancer?
That one that might cause.
Oh, I tell you. How many years do I need to attend for that? Do I get a PhD at the end?
No. Actually, I'm going to do. Actually, this is on the part of the future perspective.
Right.
I'm going to do a course that will be teaching laymen what causes cancer and how we can prevent it. And but just for a short.
Sure, yes.
For a short.
So what are possible causes?
Since I want to make this as a public education, right? I just do this in my podcast also.
Sure.
Because it is also my program.
Alright.
Where I do podcasts.
Yeah.
We know that cancer is caused by genetic mutations. Okay. But the cause of this genetic mutation, 5 to 10% of cancer, it is due to genetic.
Genetic, okay, 5 to 10%.
5 to 10%. And mostly this would occur very young. Means like if somebody gets the cancer at a very young age, then it's almost sure that it's because of genetics. Almost.
So it's, in a way, can I say it's hereditary?
Yeah, I mean that's why I say hereditary.
Hereditary.
But do you notice the percentage? It's
It's only small,
5,
it's a small
10%.
percentage. So what happens to the other 90%?
90 to 95% is caused by the environment.
Oh, okay. So it's nature lah. So more on nature.
Going forward, I would like to work on that 90 to 95%.
Right.
But now that I've been working in wellness, there are also other factors. Like emotional.
Emotional. Okay.
Example, stress.
Alright. Yeah.
So and I mean there's so many other things that I'm still discovering, so I don't want to say everything because some of them are can be proven by science, but some of them, for example, stress, how do you really prove that?
Yes.
But then people do find a correlation that when they get themselves out of that stressful situation, their condition improves. So I'm still reading up on this. Okay. So anyway, just to note that that is one of the important aspects. And for my project that I'm working on, I'm collaborating with a cancer exercise specialist as well as an accredited nutritionist who has worked in the hospital with cancer patients. So we cover on the aspect of diet, movement, and for me, it's like the basic, like the chemicals, biological factors and the radiation. Yeah.
What do you eat to these people, the other people, movement and the dietitian? So we can
Because when I've always believed in nutrition.
Okay.
You are what you eat. For nutrition,
Yes.
I'm a big believer in it.
Mhm.
Actually, even also in emotional work, because I have personal experience, personal encounters
Mhm.
exactly with these two factors.
Oh, okay.
Not that it leads to cancer, thankfully. Hope so.
Touch it.
But okay, let's say for nutrition,
Mhm.
I've been having imbalance hormone since I was 13 years old.
Okay.
Okay. I've been to the doctor for, I think, the whole time I was in secondary school, and then even when I was in JC,
Mhm.
and then I had other symptoms that came up when I was doing my masters.
Mhm.
So I've been in hospital quite a lot, just under observation, and I've taken like pills and like some supplements, traditional treatment, but nothing worked.
Alright.
So for
Wow.
16 years.
And there's no so-called cure for that.
Exactly. And then people were saying, never mind, when you have kids, it's going to be normal. This is a normal condition. But is that I was 13, I'm not thinking about having kids. You know? So, anyway, when I was in Sweden,
Mhm.
I got broke the first week I was there. So whatever money I brought from Singapore finished just because I was eating with the professor at the restaurant every day. And I got broke in 1 week
Wow.
while waiting for the scholarship to kick in. Luckily, my mom packed for me, right? My luggage bag, half of it is food. I got Maggi mee lah.
Wah, tapau.
I got frozen rendang. I got frozen
That's
murtabak. And then all the instant spice. So anyway, I started to eat just this.
Okay.
And then when I get the scholarship, I tell myself, Mariam, must cook, must save up.
Yes.
So the only way to really manage finances well in Sweden is actually to cook.
Okay.
So I'm a bad cook. I don't know how to cook.
Okay.
So how I cooked the first few years, I just boil water. I didn't even, like in Malay we always have this like you fry your onion first, blah blah blah. I don't know. I just boil one pot of water. I put whatever lah. I have if broccoli was on offer, I buy broccoli lah. If carrot on offer, I buy carrot lah. So I always have a pot of water. I put broccoli, I put carrot, I put chicken. Okay, that's my meal for the whole week.
Okay.
So that's what I eat. And within 2 months, that hormone imbalance totally cleared.
Oh,
For the rest until now,
serious.
just in 2 months.
Interesting. Just by the food
Just by the food.
and the way you cook it.
I think the way I cook it, maybe what I cook because, okay, maybe I didn't cook chicken because
So it's just veg, just fiber.
fish, salmon,
Should could be the omega.
could be the omega. So I was eating a lot of salmon, and from the time I start cooking, I've reduced, no oil, very little salt,
Okay.
and also almost no sugar. Almost no sugar, but I'm a cookie monster, so I eat lots of chocolate and cookie. So I mean, I do take sugar, but very reduced.
Okay.
Very reduced. And you know how often do we can't eat cookies and chocolate the whole day.
Right.
So it's not the main meal, and maybe like a couple of things. Yeah.
So since then till now, would you consider cure
Yeah.
from your hormone imbalance?
Yes.
And that's how, in a way, you could attribute to the food,
Yes.
partly.
I attribute to the food.
Yeah.
My mom doesn't believe it.
Okay.
She attributed it to the air. But then there is some sense in that also, because now I work with people who talk about vitamins in the air. So yes, there is some sense in that. So it could be a combination at the literature and see what's sensible before I see, okay, let's look further.
Mhm.
Yeah. But yes.
So that's how the dietitian comes into collaborating with you. Then how about the other guy and the movement? How does it, emotional part?
So I have another experience.
Yes.
I had an anxiety attack
Okay.
while doing my PhD. Maybe the stress was a contributing factor.
Stress on yourself, okay?
Actually, something happened.
Okay.
Okay.
So what happened?
I was that time I was about 2 years in Sweden, and I went jogging with my friend.
Okay.
It was spring, and suddenly I start getting allergy. I didn't know it back then, but now I know that it's normal for people to start to get pollen allergy after
yes.
about 2 years living in temperate countries. So I had the allergy attack pretty bad. Like my eyes were swollen, my mouth was swollen, and I could feel my throat getting something happening there. And I've read about hives before, just reading on the internet, and they say that if your throat gets swelling, it's very, very dangerous because if it swells so big that it blocks your airway, then the person can actually die, suffocate and die. Yeah. Okay. At the A&E, I told them that I feel my throat swelling, and they immediately gave me adrenaline jab and some steroid pills. So I was kept on observation for a night, and I was just trying to see if things get under control. Then, so when I went back, I came back from the hospital. I was at home and I started getting heart palpitations, like the heartbeat was irregular, and I just don't know what's happening. Like I tried to sleep and like it's still like that. I had difficulty to sleep because of that also, and I got really nervous because I didn't know anything about allergy at that time. I didn't know anything about heart condition, and I thought in my imagination that could allergy lead to like the organs switching off and me dying? I mean, I didn't know so much.
Possible.
I don't know. Yeah, that's why I'm like anything is possible, right? So I was so scared and like crying, and I write my will and I put it beside my bed at the bed table. When I go to sleep, I don't know if I'm gonna wake up. I mean, now we're laughing about it, but at that time I was really like, am I gonna wake up? So that went on for a few nights, maybe a few weeks or a few months. I don't remember now. But my anxiety got really bad. That when I have an attack, I cannot move my limbs. I cannot move my hands. That was also why I started thinking, my body is shutting down. And then I went to the A&E the second time, and then told the doctor, and the doctor said, "Oh no, you're having anxiety. Don't worry, you're not going to die." That was a relief. And then things happened, and then I had a third attack. By this time, since I know it's a psychological condition, anxiety, right? And I've asked some of, I have a mentor, and she was the founder of the institute that I was studying, or that department I was studying.
Oh, okay.
We happened to become good friends. If anything happens, Mariam, my friend told me that there is a psychiatric emergency department. Go here. So, and it happened that during Easter holiday, I got an anxiety attack where I cannot move my legs. So I was dragging myself to this psychiatric clinic, and that was when they hooked me up with the coach at my own institute at the university, and that was the start of like mental coaching for 3 years, even on 3 years. So I was also given medication which didn't help me at all. So for me personally, my body maybe don't respond to medicine.
So for that 3 years coaching, what kind of program did you go through? 3 years, no?
I think it's called coaching. I mean, that's what I know it as. But what she
or in the
does,
medical, sometimes they call it as counseling, therapy.
they don't call it therapy.
You don't
or
want to
counseling.
I know therapy sometimes there's a negative connotation to that.
And probably therapy might involve, I mean, I don't know, maybe more things.
Okay.
But for me, my treatment was basically going to the office, sitting down with the person.
Yeah.
She asked me a question, I answer her.
Just like I'm doing.
Exactly. But she asked targeted question
Targeted.
to find out what happened that could have triggered. So she was digging all any emotional baggage and stuff, and happened that I had a lot. So that 3 years, but it's not every day for 3 years. It's like at first it was every week.
Okay.
And then after that, I started to learn how to manage. The medication didn't work, but I learned breathing techniques. It's called breathing in a box. So it's basically just deep breathing. But how deep is deep? It's like you draw a box, breathe in, and then breathe out.
For what I learned, deep breathing is breathe in all the way to your diaphragm. That's how it works. And diaphragm is difficult for some people. The diaphragm is here generally, but some people over time the diaphragm have relocated somewhere else because diaphragm is just above your tummy, right? Yeah. But over time our tummy have relocated, some are expanded, going some way, some go up way, so difficult to find the diaphragm. So so that's deep breathing.
Okay.
No, just so at least I'm not a doctor, but I can share with you a little bit more.
Since you study psychology, right?
Yeah. It's sports science. Right. So that was from a weekly. So after that, at what time did what change to?
I don't remember actually, but after a while, like she found I could manage, and then we made the appointment like longer. So I met her.
So it's just chatting. Yes.
So it's really coaching. It's like a life coach, they ask. But in this sense, she's digging past trauma.
Yes.
And then maybe she will give me some, like suggestions. I think they are not allowed to really give suggestions as a coach, so but maybe if the way I was, they prompt me to think. Like, okay, instead of thinking about this trauma in this way, maybe you can think of it, how about this perspective? Do you think about it in this perspective? Yeah. So, it's like it got better and better.
So the anxiety is no longer with you anymore? So you got any experience since then? Can we say just like the previous one that is cured?
Now yes, but there is another thing that was instrumental.
Okay.
So I was mentioning the medication didn't work.
Yeah.
So what happened was that when I had the anxiety attack, it takes me about 30 minutes to calm down, and with the medication it still takes 30 minutes. And then towards the end of my PhD, I was starting to play with essential oils. Not really play, but I was using the essential oils mainly for my children.
You don't shower with essential oils.
No. I'm really careful in using that because they're really powerful stuff.
Yes. So what did you discover from that?
Sorry?
What do you discover from that?
So what happened was I bought a set. Mainly was to use for my children because children in childcare they keep falling sick, and then somebody recommended me, and I said okay, let me give it a try, and then it worked for them. And happened that one of the day I was having my anxiety attack from the kids, and I said okay, let me grab one of this oil, which is supposedly said to relieve stress. So I just smell it. Within 2 minutes, I calmed down. From 30 to 2 minutes. So.
And what essential oil is this? You can remember?
It's a mixture. It's a blend.
It's a blend.
It's a specific blend for stress. Yeah.
Okay.
I mean, if you want later on, I can talk to you more about it because, I don't want to say it right now because I don't want somebody to just think, okay, I can just go and grab it.
Yes.
Because I also teach about how to use essential oil safely. Sure. So after this, after that results on myself, I got really curious and I started reading about essential oils.
If I may ask, as a person of authority, PhD, right? When we discover essential oil and a person who knows this, how you explain, this to helping you to relieve your anxiety or whatever that you're feeling?
I have to say that I'm still learning.
Okay.
But one of the things
Yes.
that essential oil does is that it has an effect on your limbic system. That's a very big word. It took me months to understand.
Okay.
But it's like the emotional brain.
Yes.
Okay. So it takes seconds from smelling for it to reach the brain, and then after that it takes just minutes for the brain for it to go to the rest of the body in the bloodstream, to get to the bloodstream. And then from there, it's within maybe 20 minutes. Within 20 minutes of smelling an essential oil, you will get a systemic effect. So it's very, very, very important to choose a very good quality essential oil that is not tainted or adulterated.
So pure.
But then you cannot use the pure one in the pure form.
Yes.
You need to dilute it. And how much to dilute, that's where the science comes in. It's a bit of science and art.
Of course.
Because there's like a bit of science, then
Yes.
okay, I can still improve a bit or
Yeah.
reduce a bit. So it's very individual.
Okay.
So with the people that I work with right now, it's more like family and friends, and I say, hey, I've tried essential oils. If they want, then I can show them how they can use it.
Alright, so you have tested on yourself and also on your kids and your as well.
Mainly I use for us, yeah.
Okay.
But for people who, some friends and family who ask for me, I also coach them, teach them how to use.
And just now you did mention about a session that you invited me to attend. What actually you're going to teach or impart?
Which,
The
the course that's coming up.
Yes, the one that will lead me to having a PhD.
Okay, there's a few. There are a few ideas that I'm thinking.
Yeah.
So right now it's still like in the what do you call it? The development stages.
Sure.
Of these courses, but what is the concept behind it? Is that I would like to bring the knowledge from the lab to the public. In the lab. There are certain things like 90 to 95% of cancer is caused by the environment. I never heard of that before. And how many people are really aware of that? And this is what I wish to bring to the public, and not just telling 90 to 95%, but what constitutes this 90 to 95%. So I'm putting together the puzzle to find out what are these contributors.
Can I make a guess? The environment could be like what? Because I pick it up from what you just shared. Could be food. The environment does include your lifestyle. That's why that's why you invited another collaborator, which is the movement part.
Movement and
Emotional. So that's the lifestyle.
Yeah.
And our lifestyle, as far as we are concerned down here, I think we work more. We are stressed out, whether in the office, at home, it's also stressed out. On the other hand, stress is okay. Just correct me here, because doctor. That stress. We need stress, right? And stress only occurs when the pressure is more than the resources. Your body not able to cope. Am I right?
I'm not a stress scientist.
Okay, sorry. So just to verify.
I'm still learning this.
Then we can collaborate.
Exactly. You are the brain scientist.
Yeah, more the brain. So just to share, because the stress we need stress.
Yeah.
Right? But stress in a way happens when your body is not able to cope. So that's why stress happens. When the pressure is more than the coping mechanism.
I think it's not just stress.
Yeah.
Some stress is good, but it's more like continuous stress.
Yes.
And continuous high level stress, perhaps.
Yes.
So for example, people who are in, I've heard of people who work in those brokering or finance.
It's high pressure, yeah.
It's very high pressure, and
Yes.
sometimes they could just while waiting they could just fall down from high blood pressure or something.
Yes.
So, different ways the body cope with the stress.
Correct.
So, cancer could be one of them. And this is something that I'm not putting it out there yet,
Yes.
because this is something I'm still reading on.
Reading it.
And a lot of these are anecdotal.
Yes.
Anecdotal means it's just from people's
People say.
experience. But I find that not everything can really be measured. I don't know, how you measure stress? I don't know. Maybe there is a stress scientist. I would really love to collaborate.
Usually what I do is that I have a questionnaire.
Okay.
Yeah, just an analysis whether you're stressed or how high is your stress. But that's one question, because all these ways being in the academic line, why don't you end up in the university? Or be a professor, alright, be there, and you can do more research and put out a paper for others to read, and let the now let the researchers, others to find the cure for it.
My journey, okay, there are people in my close circle, family and friends, who got cancer.
Oh,
And when it happened, sometimes they ask me, so Mariam, what can we do? And the best thing I can answer is, I don't know. Ask your doctor. Then I ask myself, like, I'm a cancer researcher and I cannot help anything.
yeah.
So whatever I know is only limited to the lab. Is only limited to cells, to plants, to animals, because I was working also with animal studies. But I can't really translate that. Now we come back again to translation, right? I can't really translate that to like real life application.
Okay.
That is where, when I came across this statistics that 90 to 95% is caused by the environment, and maybe I can work on this field, in this area, and how to avoid this 90 to 95% so that we reduce the chances of cancer.
Alright.
I go with the flow and I see where it takes me. And I believe in the process. It's like I search for it, and then I believe in myself that, okay, what I'm interested in makes sense. It's not something crazy. Even if it's crazy, it makes sense to me. So I go with that notion, and I started my own company.
Okay. Yeah.
Working with wellness.
Wow, congratulations.
Thank you.
Wow.
How can I use my 15 years of knowledge and bring some benefit out of that? Because I think I know certain things that could be useful, and these certain things, like, maybe not everybody knows it. And maybe if I'm going to teach in university, only the people who go to university will learn about it. So I want to do something for the community.
Yeah. Actually, when you say the little things I know, it's really an understatement. You actually, from the 15 years of experiences, actually build you up already, and you have seen it in different environments, in different situations. Right now, you're moving into an area where you're actually teaching people, imparting the knowledge to them, right? That how you can relate because of your stature as a doctor, right? A PhD in that particular field, you can even relate even more, right? Yeah. So you can combine these two areas into one. Right? Again, because this is a bit sensitive, where it's a bit of leans on the medical side. That's why you need the certification over it. But I'm sure when you combine these two, it will be a very powerful tool, alright, and knowledge for the people who are receiving it. In fact, by listening to you just now for the last an hour or so, alright, I think we have learned a lot. For myself, I know a little bit of it because I'm not there, right? But I do know about emotions, primarily because of the background where I came from. So I'm sure you will help. So the venturing from academic to practical is something that you are making a difference to the community. No, you don't hope. You will. Right? Yeah, you will, right?
Actually, an event, something happened, and I had to contribute this enlightenment to 3 of my friends.
Right.
So these 3 ladies, okay, one of them called me and said, Mariam, you were a cancer researcher, right? I said, yeah.
No, you are still.
Okay, you did research on cancer, right? I said, yeah. I said, can I meet you and ask you something about cancer? I said, sure. You know, let's see. And I said, okay, I'm going to bring a couple of friends too. I said, okay, sure. So it was just like Q&A.
Yes.
And they asked and I answered, they asked and I answered. Actually, before that, I gave them my thesis and I said, okay, so now just explain what is homeostasis, just means a balance.
Balance.
Okay, balance. So if that is the crux of it, and if that is not understood, then it will be hard to understand the rest. So I said, yeah, never mind, it's okay, you know, homeostasis just means a balance. So you need a balance of cell growth and cell death for you to be healthy. So if cells are dying too much, you have some disease. If cells are growing too much, you have cancer, or you have other disease.
Yeah.
So we need a balance. A lot of what they were asking, and my replies to them, a lot of them centered around this 90 to 95%.
Okay.
And that is where I start to see, hey, maybe, you know, there is that value in that 90 to 95% area that I can maybe share whatever I know about it.
When is this? Can I sign up? When is the date?
We haven't launched yet.
Yeah, but you intend to, right?
We intend to.
Okay.
So I mean, you can follow my Eventbrite.
Okay, sure.
I have Eventbrite, YouTube,
Right.
Facebook,
Sure.
Instagram. I will announce there when we are.
Alright, we'll put up on this podcast too. We'll inform you.
Sure.
Stay tuned also, right? Alright, since you said your word for the day, right, before we end, it's been a lively and interesting session. It was very therapeutic for me. But it gives me a great awareness now more. Alright, that you mentioned about 95% contributing possible contributing factors. Alright, that contribute to possible cancer. Alright, and one of the main contributor will be stress. And it is in us. Is how we actually cope with that. And on top of that, what we also learn is that the food that we eat. Alright, so apple a day is fine. So I'm not yet an apple. So I still maybe a sugar king still. Very proud of that. Okay. What would be your personal motto or slogan that you have?
Just do it.
Oh, that's like him.
I borrow lah.
Oh, borrow. Okay, just do it. Explain a bit more. Why just do it?
Okay, I think I read thing that people regret the most of the time is not what they do, but what they didn't do.
Sure.
So my motto has always been
just do it.
Just do it.
It's about action. It's not just about thinking about it, but it's all about action.
I got a call for interview, just go
Do
there.
it.
I got an opportunity to go 6 months, I just did it. And then apply for
We have one last thing to ask you, okay? That is, do you live to work or work to live? No. Explain a bit more.
Explain a bit more.
Yeah. Do you live to work or work to live?
Okay, we need to work to get money, to buy food, to get house, to buy the house. So that's work to live.
Alright.
Live to work. So the work that I do, I feel that I choose to do the work that keeps me alive. Things that interest me.
Sure.
Things that excites my mind. It's not something that, oh, I have to go to work today.
That's why everybody's
I mean, yeah. I mean, at some point,
yes.
okay, I again have to qualify here that
Yes.
every profession is important.
Yeah.
Everyone
Of
plays
course.
a role.
Yes.
The bus driver is extremely important, as you all
Everybody.
know. The cleaners are important. The lab technicians are important. Everyone has a role. It's just what is your interest?
Come to this club also. The reason because the list of speakers in the podcast, they are all adventurous.
That's nice.
Not adventure just doing adventure activities, but we are adventurous in life also. We take risks, and most of us actually just do it.
Just do it, right?
And the producer of this, director of this, who initiated by the name of Yuki, she also
Just
do
do
it. And let's do it. So, ladies and gentlemen, wow, sorry I have to stop here. Alright, it's been, as mentioned, I repeat the word, very therapeutic for me. And I hope you do find the same thing. Very enlightening for us, alright, and from a layman's perspective, and to know about cancer, about essential oils, how you relate, and for your personal experiences.
Can I sum up a bit about?
Sure.
From my experience and what I'm doing now.
Yeah.
15 years ago, 2 years, and the future perspective.
Yeah.
Okay. So I find that since 90 to 95% of cancer can be due to environmental factors, including chemical factors, biological factors like infections, and like viruses, parasites, and then the radiation, and then the emotional and diet. So it means that there are so many things that we can do. But that doesn't say that if somebody got cancer, it's like, yeah, you are never take care. Sometimes it happens, even though the healthiest person, for example, the air, the haze comes every year. It's not under our control. So that affects our lungs. And the cars are on road. So as much as we try to do this preventive aspect, one other way on this preventive narration is that HPV, they do a lot of screening programs.
Okay.
And I highly encourage that people participate in this screening. If it's really like extended pain and abnormal, please go for screening. And go for the regular screeners that can be screened. Whatever can be screened, just screen. I tell you why. When cancers are detected at the very early stage, there is a very high chance of getting cured. Okay, because I mean, as much as drug discovery is very challenging, a lot has been achieved. So there are a lot of things that doctors can do. There are a lot of things that hospitals, researchers have found and can help a cancer patient. But if the person goes too late and delay treatment, and they go to the next stage and to the fourth stage, then it gets harder and harder to treat. So when there is a screening program, just take it. Like in Sweden, we have a letter every 5 years, go for HPV, and it's mandatory. So I think in Sweden maybe we can do that. In Singapore we can do that. Even if it's optional, if it says go every year, maybe
So it's your own responsibility.
It's your responsibility.
You don't have to wait for people or the government to tell you.
And you don't have to wait.
Self-awareness.
And you don't have to wait until you are
to the
too
last
sick. Exactly.
Okay, wise words. So people, be responsible for your own health. Alright, don't wait for things to happen. Make things happen, and make things happen means go for that regular checkup, as what Dr. Siti Mariam has advised.
Take care of your lifestyle.
And yes, and that means exercise a lot. Learn to chill. Well, I have to tell that to myself too. Learn to chillax. Alright. So in the meantime, so do chillax till the next podcast we're going to share with you. So thank you for staying with us, and till we meet again. Have a good day. Bye bye.